So,
Dr.
I think
Suchi
we come to the young Turks in the field of ophthalmology. We have Dr. Suchi Smita, a young cataract cornea surgeon from Pune, who will be talking on the Stevens-Johnson syndrome, the chronic phase, whether to keep them on immunosuppressants or not, and should be argued against our dynamic young budding ophthalmologist, Dr. Shreyas Ramamurthy, a consultant and cataract refractive cornea surgeon from the Eye Foundation, a very promising ophthalmologist. So he'll be talking against it. So go ahead, Dr. Suchi, please.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Chitra madam, and entire ARC team for this wonderful opportunity. So I would be debating on a topic where there is not too much of literature available in the role of immunosuppressors in the post-acute phase.
Dr. Suchi, can you please speak loudly or come closer to the microphone?
Not able to hear her.
Dr. Suchi, your voice is low. Can you speak a little louder?
Now can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So I would like to first of all acknowledge so much of literature provided by the pioneering work from our Indian doctors, which has really helped us in managing these challenging cases. However, there is no clear consensus on this particular aspect of using immunosuppressives in the subacute or the chronic phase of SJS. Most of us feel it is an acute single event, and after that, there is a phase where episodic inflammation happens in some patients, but later on they reach a chronic end-stage disease. Of course, in acute phase, though controversial, systemic pulse steroids and even cyclosporin has been used to promote epithelialization and to reduce mortality. And then there comes the subacute phase, and then eventually patient goes into this kind of chronic phase. Not all cases, but up to 35% of patients can have significant ocular changes post SJS. Now, I also agree that at this point, there is no role for immunosuppression. But if we catch this early, when there is ongoing inflammation like this, where there is repeated episodes of subconjunctival inflammation, inflammation at the limbus, inflammation in the deep cornea in the form of deep vessels, infiltrates, melts, in spite of correcting the lid problems, in spite of ensuring lubrication and punctal cautery, there are a subset of patients whom we see obvious clinical inflammation on the slit lamp and even symptomatically. Now, for example, this case has convinced me that immunosuppression probably may be useful. This is an IT professional post-TE and very severe involvement. So she had bouts of corneal inflammation like this with fronts of vessels coming from all directions. This is her right eye on top left over here. And we had to put her on cyclosporin apart from topical steroids, and we even tried topical tacrolimus. Then it didn't work. We went on to systemic cyclosporin with immunologist support. And in the left lower picture, you can see her after 2.5 years. The corneal luster is maintained. She maintains 6/9 vision, and we see regressed vessels. And she's managing most of her activities. Now, what if immunosuppressives have actually helped her and prevented a more severe disease? This was also a case after lid margin, MMG, everything. She had bouts of corneal melts, which responded somewhat to methotrexate, and eventually it was taken off after 6 months. So is SJS always really a one-time event in the eye? There is a very much variable course in this disease. We all know that. Let us see the literature. These are the few studies I came across where they proved that inflammation is ongoing in these patients after the acute phase as well. And even in cases where there is no obvious clinical inflammation, they found inflammatory cells in the conjunctiva. And even similar to Sjogren's syndrome, they even found salivary gland biopsies having T lymphocytes. So probably there is some ongoing inflammation in a subset of these patients. Rojas et al. Found that in these three red categories, in the lower three ones, that is Stevens-Johnson's recurrent inflammation, Stevens-Johnson's mucous membrane pemphigoid-like variant, and a very rare scleritis-like variant. There are recurrent inflammations very late in the disease, even as late as 2 years. And all these patients benefited from systemic immunosuppression. So in MMP-like findings, they also found that there were antibodies in the basement membrane. Some of these cases even had immunofluorescence positivity. So is the biopsy needed in such cases? I would like to ask panel members eventually. And also cases with ocular surface failure. Of course, the initial event itself causes a lot of damage. But what about the recurrent bouts of inflammation in the limbus causing further damage? So this is again another series where they used some immunosuppressives and they found it to be. Yes, sir. So this is an Indian paper with 5 out of 7 patients where methotrexate, cyclosporin, and azathioprine did help when all other measures like topical lubricants, steroids, and lid margin surgeries failed. So also there was one case, a paper where melts reduced after Kepro in SJS after immunosuppression. The agents used were azathioprine, mycophenolate, methotrexate, and cyclosporin in various papers I came across, and very rarely cyclophosphamide for the MMP variant. So I too believe that for certain subset of cases, if we catch them early, before the burnt out phase, and give them immunosuppressives, of course, very cautiously, along with all other treatments, there may be some role for it. I would like to ask the panel members and off to my opponent regarding this particular issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Suchismita. That was an amazing talk.